Brought to you by Penguin. My Family and Other Spies by Alistair Wood, read by David Rintoul. Blether, a Scottish word meaning foolish talk, nonsense, exaggeration. But in our family it meant quite the opposite. It covered anything that was true but to outsiders would sound like foolish talk, nonsense, or exaggeration. This included any mention of where my mother worked, what she did for a living, even where we lived, and, heaven forbid, any mention whatsoever of my father. Rest assured, what follows is pure, unadulterated blether. Introduction. I don't suppose we'll ever really know the truth about J.B. Wood, will we? Harold Shergold, SIS Soviet Bloc Controller, 1954–71, to author. As far back as I can remember, once or twice a year my mother would drive us up to London to spend the day with Shergie and his wife Bevis at their Richmond Park home. I have photographs of my brother and I feeding the deer, boating on the pen ponds, up to our knees among the reed beds. But of course I have no photographs of Shergold himself, long since weeded out, more likely never taken in the first place. Close friends of my mother, ever since she stepped off the train into the deep end of the so-called Agentsumpf, or agent swamp, that was Berlin in 1949, they remained so throughout her life. Shergie gave the eulogy at her funeral. In the years since, he kept in occasional touch, and every now and then I'd be press-ganged into dog-walking duties round Richmond Park, he and Bevis having spent their retirement years training guide dogs for the blind. So I was met with much excited tail-wagging by his latest recruits, Westley and Larry, when I arrived at his home, the ground-floor apartment of a flat-roofed, modernist house backing directly onto the park itself. Shergie was by now well into his late 80s, and his health had begun to fail. His breathing was not good, and he had a rota of mostly Kiwi carers who keep an eye on me, one of whom had prepared lunch for us, laid out ready on the dining-room sideboard. First things first, he insisted we head across the road to the Star and Garter home, a residential care home for ex-servicemen and women, where Bevis had spent the last months of her life. He was keen to show me a glass-topped display case of her athletics medals. She competed in the shot put at the 1948 Olympics, installed on the first-floor landing in her memory. Our slow progress up the main staircase was not helped by a constant stream of people stopping to wish him well. Anyone and everyone knew Shergie, it seemed. Later, though, as he got his breath back and we peered down at Bevis's various certificates and medals, he twinkled, "Of course, no one here knows who I am." During lunch he kept the conversation to everyday matters, his health, dogs, past and present, family, what I was up to, after which he shuffled me through to the sitting-room, motioning to two fraying armchairs. The room was much as I remembered, the heavy desk with the familiar black upright typewriter in one corner, the same two paintings of Venice, and, behind me, the low bookcase with its well-worn school textbooks. My mother had once teasingly asked what job I thought Shergie did, and I can remember guessing that he might be a rather genial schoolmaster, as he had been once, only for the Second World War to map out an altogether different path for him. Just two books referenced his second career: Battleground Berlin, jointly written by an ex-KGB officer and two of Shergold's former CIA colleagues, told the story of Cold War Berlin from both sides, but it contained little, if anything, that my mother and her Berlin friends used to natter about. On the other hand, Tom Bauer's The Perfect English Spy did, and even included a distant, slightly blurred photograph of Shergold walking one of his dogs down to the ponds, a rare time he'd been caught on camera. Normally anything to do with the office, as Shergie and everyone in our family referred to the Secret Intelligence Service, SIS, would be held back until
Sample complete. Ready to continue?